The trailer for From Season 4, Episode 10 has given fans more questions than answers, and that's exactly why it's so exciting. Almost every shot feels carefully placed to hide something much bigger. We see panic spreading through the town as the sky changes color, Jade and Tabitha trapped deep inside the caves, Boyd returning with blood covering his shirt, and monsters appearing to move in ways we've never seen before. None of these moments seem random. Instead, they appear to be connected by one terrifying event that could completely reshape Fromville before the season ends. The finale still has another season to set up, so it's unlikely to answer every mystery. Instead, it looks ready to create the biggest turning point the series has ever seen. Based on what the trailer shows, there are several clues that point toward an ending that could change every rule we've come to understand. Let's break everything down, step by step. The biggest surprise in the trailer arrives almost immediately. Instead of another quiet build-up before nightfall, we see something that feels completely unnatural. The sky slowly turns a deep shade of red, and every person in town looks upward in fear. Nobody appears to understand what they're witnessing, and that's exactly what makes the moment so unsettling. In a place where strange events have become almost normal, this still feels different. This feels bigger. Throughout the series, Fromville has always followed certain rules. The monsters stay hidden during the day. The talismans provide protection inside sealed buildings. The residents survive by respecting those rules because breaking them usually ends in tragedy. But the trailer quietly suggests that those rules might no longer exist. That possibility alone changes everything. If the town itself is changing, then every survivor is suddenly vulnerable again. The safety they've relied on for years could disappear within minutes. Instead of preparing for another ordinary night, everyone may be forced to fight for their lives in broad daylight. One of the most interesting details is where Jade and Tabitha are during all of this. They're shown deep inside the caves, continuing the dangerous mission they started earlier. They've spent most of the season searching for answers instead of simply trying to survive. Every discovery has led them deeper into the mystery surrounding the town, and now it seems they may have reached the point of no return. The caves have never been an ordinary location. They represent the hidden history of Fromville, a place connected to the creatures, forgotten rituals, and secrets buried beneath the town itself. Every time someone enters those tunnels, the danger increases. The trailer makes that danger feel more immediate than ever before. Then there's the brief shot of the protective covering being ripped away. At first glance, it might seem like another random attack from the monsters, but looking closer, it raises a disturbing possibility. Maybe the monsters aren't becoming stronger. Maybe the protections themselves are becoming weaker. That single difference changes how we should interpret every scene in the trailer. For years, the talismans have represented hope. They gave the residents something they could trust in a world built on fear. If those protections suddenly stop working, the psychological impact would be just as devastating as the physical danger. The people of Fromville wouldn't just lose their homes. They would lose the only certainty they had left. Another moment that deserves attention is Boyd's appearance. When he returns, his shirt is covered in blood. The trailer never explains where that blood came from, and that's almost certainly intentional. It immediately encourages viewers to ask one question. Whose blood is it? The obvious assumption is that Boyd fought one of the monsters, but this series rarely chooses the obvious explanation. Time and time again, the emotional wounds have been more painful than the physical ones. That makes another possibility much more frightening. Boyd may have been forced to make an impossible decision involving someone he knows. If that's true, then the blood on his shirt isn't a symbol of victory. It's a symbol of sacrifice. The trailer also spends surprisingly little time showing the townspeople fighting back. Instead, we mostly see confusion. People gather outside, staring into the strange sky. Fear spreads across every face before anyone even understands what's happening. That emotional reaction suggests the event itself is unlike anything they've experienced before. Sometimes what a trailer doesn't show is just as important as what it does. Notice how quickly the focus shifts away from action and toward expressions. Wide eyes, silence, panic. Those choices tell us the real threat may not simply be another monster attack. It could be the collapse of the entire system that has governed Fromville since the beginning. Meanwhile, Jade's dialogue introduces another critical idea. He talks about breaking the cycle and getting the children home. That wording feels incredibly deliberate. He isn't simply talking about escaping the town anymore. He's talking about ending something that is repeated over and over again. Cycles have become one of the biggest themes throughout the series. Characters repeat mistakes. Histories repeat themselves. Tragedies seem destined to happen again and again. If Jade truly believes the cycle can finally be broken, then whatever happens inside those caves could affect every person trapped in Fromville. Another detail worth paying attention to is the growing sense that the town itself behaves almost like a living force. Strange visions appear exactly when characters need to see them. Trees move, roads change, people hear voices guiding or manipulating them. These events suggest that Fromville isn't just a location, it reacts. If that's true, then every decision made by Jade and Tabitha inside the caves could trigger a response from the town itself. That possibility makes the red sky even more terrifying. Instead of being a random supernatural event, it could be the town's warning. Or worse, its retaliation. The trailer carefully avoids revealing exactly what happens next. We never see the full outcome of Jade and Tabitha's mission. We don't know whether they succeed, fail, or accidentally unleash something far more dangerous than the monsters themselves. That missing piece is exactly what creates so much suspense. And when all of these clues are placed together, one chilling possibility begins to emerge. The finale may not simply be about escaping danger. It may be about discovering that every attempt to fight the town has been pushing everyone closer to an even greater catastrophe. If that's true, then the red sky isn't the beginning of the ending. It's the warning that the real nightmare has only just begun. The trailer is packed with shocking moments, but one hidden detail quietly connects almost every major scene. It's so easy to focus on the red sky, Boyd's bloody shirt, or Jade and Tabitha entering the caves that many viewers overlook the one thing that may explain why everything begins to fall apart. That detail is the bottle tree. At first glance, the bottle tree looks like another strange landmark inside Fromville. It has always been mysterious, decorated with hanging bottles and surrounded by unanswered questions. But throughout the series, several characters have hinted that this tree is far more important than anyone realizes. More importantly, some characters have repeatedly warned that it should never be destroyed. That warning suddenly feels much more serious after watching the finale trailer. If you look closely at everything happening in Episode 10's preview, the timeline appears to suggest that the town begins changing only after the group's plan involving the bottle tree moves forward. While the trailer doesn't directly confirm cause and effect, The editing strongly encourages viewers to connect those events. And if that connection is real, it could completely change how we understand Fromville. Many fans have assumed the bottle tree is some kind of doorway or key to escaping. That would make sense because so many clues have pointed Jade and Tabitha toward it. They have spent most of the season chasing symbols, numbers, memories, and hidden messages, believing they were finally getting closer to freedom. But what if that assumption is completely wrong? What if the bottle tree was never meant to help people escape? What if its real purpose was keeping something trapped? That possibility suddenly makes every previous warning far more meaningful. Think back to how carefully the series treats ancient objects and forgotten rituals. Almost nothing exists without a purpose. Even the smallest symbols often become important several episodes later. The writers have consistently rewarded viewers who pay attention to background details instead of only focusing on major action scenes. The bottle tree fits that pattern perfectly. Instead of being a gateway, it may actually be part of an ancient system that keeps the balance inside the town. Destroying it wouldn't create freedom. It would remove protection. That idea also connects with another important mystery that has been quietly building throughout the season. Victor previously talked about the trees moving. At first, this sounded like another strange statement from someone shaped by years of trauma. But Victor has repeatedly proven that the things he notices usually matter. His memories are fragmented, yet they often point toward truths that other characters fail to see. If the trees themselves have been moving, then perhaps the town is constantly changing its own structure. Imagine spending months searching for a single doorway, only to discover the doorway has already moved somewhere else. That would mean Jade and Tabitha have been following clues that were once correct, but are no longer leading to the same destination. The town would always remain one step ahead, and that's exactly the kind of psychological trap From has built since the very beginning. The series has never been about simple survival. It's about hope constantly being offered, only to transform into another impossible challenge. Every major breakthrough comes with an even greater mystery attached to it. The bottle tree could be the greatest example of that pattern. Another hidden detail appears in the trailer's handling of the monsters. We briefly see them behaving differently than before. Their movements feel more confident, almost as if something has changed in their favor. They no longer appear restricted in the same way viewers have come to expect. The trailer never explains why, but if the protective balance of the town has been disrupted, that behavior suddenly makes sense. For years, fans have debated whether the monsters truly follow rules by choice or because they are forced to. Maybe they aren't simply waiting for night because they prefer dark.